will be the next World Heavyweight Champion.
All right, guys, we are soon going to discuss why men and women Royal Rumble winners currently in 2025 and in the past are not main event at WrestleMania and why it's no longer needed. Let's check out more at the red carpet ring about this.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Acknowledge us.
Hey, guys, we're here at the red carpet ring. We'll talk about Royal Rumble winners useless to main event WrestleMania. And the thing about it is, who cares about the Royal Rumble winners anymore? The Royal Rumble was started in 1988, but starting in 1993, the winner will go on to main event WrestleMania for a guaranteed championship match. But in most recent years, especially in most recent years, it is not to be an issue anymore. We're going to talk more about this because it just really don't make sense anymore. Royal Rumble winners won't be guaranteed a main event slot at WrestleMania anymore. So let's get into it. Now, we're going to show some stats here. We got here. Now, we got the women's have been winning the Royal Rumble. They've been involved since 2018, with Asuka being the first winner. So we have a history of what? 8 winners. Well, 7 winners. Charlotte Flair being the first 2-time winner. We'll talk about the men's too. We'll also talk about that. But we're going to talk about the women's first. Now, when it comes to the Royal Rumble for the women's, we're going to discuss how that the women that win the Royal Rumble, despite winning, which is a big achievement, they don't main event WrestleMania. Let's look over the stats, shall we? If we look here, 2018, Asuka won the Women's Royal Rumble, the first ever, the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble, but she didn't main event WrestleMania. She faced off against Charlotte, and she was undefeated at the time, undefeated streak, and Asuka would lose the match and by tapping out Charlotte Flair's figure 8 lock. Now, the following year, Becky Lynch won. She main evented. We know that was the first WrestleMania main event women. It was triple threat, winner take all, Becky versus Charlotte Flair, who was the women's champion, and Ronda Rousey, who was the women's world champion. And she did win. The following year, Charlotte, she actually went for the NXT Women's Championship. So she didn't main event, she went for an NXT title, women's title. Bianca Belair, she main evented night 1 against Mercedes Moné, then known as Sasha Banks. That was for the women's championship, which she did win. Ronda Rousey, she also did not main event. She wrestled Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 38 of that year. Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania 39. Rhea, won the Royal Rumble at number 1 and had a great match with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39 for the Women's World Championship. Despite all that, she did not main event. And last year, Bayley, of course, we got her as well. Bayley did not. She did not win. She did not main event WrestleMania. She went for the Women's Championship against Io Sky, previous champion. But despite all that, she did not main event. She did win and win the championship and everything. But despite all of that, did not win at all. So that's crazy though. But that's the whole thing about that. Now, the thing about it is people were upset, this year. Now this year we know for the Royal Rumble, people's upset with Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso, which I'll talk about later. I will talk about that a little bit later. But let's get on to the men's, and we're talking about in more recent memory. Now we got the men's here. Now this is Royal Rumble. We know the men's Royal Rumble started in 1988. We'll go over a list of people that did not main event. 6 superstars did not main event. Edge, when he won back in 2010, he did not main event. He was going for the World Heavyweight Championship against then champion Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 26. Alberto Rio the following year, he challenged Edge at WrestleMania 27, 27, and he that main event. Sheamus, he was the opener match, WrestleMania 28 against Daniel Bryan with the kick 18 seconds. Randy Orton, when he won in 2017, he went out to Bray Wyatt, which I still get mad about to this day, thinking about it that he won that match. But despite that, it was not a main event for WrestleMania 33 for the WWE Championship. Now, the following year, Shinsuke Nakamura, he thought he was going to win. At least he challenged AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34. Very good story. That's another failed storyline, was another thing to discuss later on. But despite that, not only did he not win, he was main event. And then the following year, 2019, Seth Rollins, he won the Royal Rumble to face off against the champion Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And I believe that was the opener match to WrestleMania 35, because definitely a main event. That was when Becky Lynch main evented his wife. But, and it says that when the Royal Rumble main event at WrestleMania, 9 out of 15. Now, we know that Cody Rhodes main event the past couple this year. We know he main evented the last two Royal Rumbles. Winner is going to WrestleMania to challenge Roman Reigns for the title. We know he main evented. That's without question. We are definitely sure of that. But the thing about it is, the winners this year were Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair to win the Royal Rumble. It came down to those two. Thing about it is, when they won, the fans were not happy about it. If you guys remember, when it came down to it, it says it right here. Fans dislike Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble. Each YouTube video is 26K dislikes. So we had a lot of more dislikes than likes. So that plays a factor. And the reason I'm bringing this up is it could be the main reason, if not the reason, or one of the reasons, I should say, why Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso will not be main events at WrestleMania this year. That could be the reason. And it's and people been talking about, because people were not happy. They weren't happy about these two winning. They had preferred other people to win the Women's World Rumble and the Men's World Rumble. That's what they preferred. But you know what? That's how it come down. That's what it come down to. And that sucks, because Triple H has said that that everybody's going to earn their main event spot. And I talked about that before. I talked a video about it. The thing about it is too, Jey Uso not main eventing, despite being main event. Jey Uso being over like he has, that's shocking. Charlotte Flair, the return of her, she's not returned. That's shocking too. It says right here, neither of the 2025 Royal Rumble winners are main events in WrestleMania. So that is a fact. We know that CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins triple threat will be main event night 1, and Cody Rhodes and John Cena for the WWE Championship main event night 2. And these stories are not captivating. I spoke about this before. That's why they're not really doing that. But it's, like I said, it's women's a lot. Only, as you can see here, for the Women's Royal Rumble, only 2 women out of all Royal Rumbles have main event WrestleMania. 2 out of the 8 winners. 2 out of 8 Royal Rumbles. Charlotte being the first 2-time winner. So that sucks for the women. But for the men, it's no different. When it comes down to the men's Royal Rumble, it's a little bit better, of course. Thing about the men, when it comes down to it, you only had a certain amount of people to main event. Now, when it comes down to the men's Royal Rumble, Jay's not main eventing, but it's shown here that 6 other men did not main event either. So that's just some stats, for you guys. And I think when it comes down to it, with a Royal Rumble, they're not going to. I think WWE's going to implement that the Royal Rumble winner will not automatically main event WrestleMania. They just guarantee the title match. And the reason I said it, because think about it: we have the Royal Rumble winner, men and women, get a title shot. The Elimination Chamber, a month after that, they get a title shot at WrestleMania. And they more main event than the Royal Rumble winners, which is Bianca Belair, Women's Elimination Chamber, better storyline, and John Cena, of course, main event and being the winner for the Men's Elimination Chamber. Then after that, what do we have in the summer? We have Money in the Bank. We got Money in the Bank, another guaranteed title shot for men and women. And then also right before that, we do have King and Queen of the Ring, which they started last year. They are guaranteed a title shot at SummerSlam. So it's just too many opportunities for the men and women to get a title shot, and I think they're not going to really go with the main event WrestleMania anymore for Royal Rumble. We see that it's stats shown that for women, only two main evented out of the whole time of the Royal Rumble for women's, and for the men. And for the men, it's shown that six, seven now, include Jay Uso, are now going to main event WrestleMania for the men's, and it may be more. Also, on social media, people have been saying this as well about the Royal Rumble winners, main event WrestleMania. One person on X said here the stipulation for the Royal Rumble should just be you get a guaranteed championship opportunity at WrestleMania now. The main event WrestleMania days are dead and gone with all other kind of matches guaranteed title shots. I agree. Now, I went over to the most recent past in 18, but let's go over the whole history. And the whole history is back from 1992 with Ric Flair, Yokozuna, Lex Luger, Shawn Michaels, Austin, McMahon. All the years here listed, these people did not main event WrestleMania. We see the long list of people that did not main event. And let's go back to, even 92. We know that Ric Flair was the Royal Rumble was for a championship match, but didn't main event WrestleMania. And then we have just a long list of people shown in history. The point is, a lot of people that have won the Royal Rumble in history, whether it's back in the 90s, 2000s, 10s, or 20s, they do not main event WrestleMania. And it trickles all the way down to this year, 2025, Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair, who are also the two, we could say almost the two most disliked from the fans that was not happy about these two winning the Royal Rumble. So it doesn't matter. Just give them a guaranteed title shot. That's it. Because I think with the roster being so stacked for the men's and women's divisions, you really don't, it's not guaranteed a WrestleMania main event slot anymore. It's so much talent on the roster. And also, like I stated before, if we look here, for 2024, we have 4 opportunities for someone to get a championship match or main event. We had Royal Rumble, guaranteed championship match, Elimination Chamber, guaranteed championship match, the Money in the Bank ladder match, guaranteed championship match. Whoever won the King and Queen of the Ring for the men and women divisions, guaranteed championship match. It's too many opportunities to get a guaranteed championship match. In Royal Rumble, that's one match. Elimination Chamber, that's one match. Money in the Bank, that's one match. Now, the King and Queen of the Ring, we know that is a tournament, and that takes weeks and weeks. But we know that it's just too many opportunities to get a title shot now. Now, granted, of course, they may not all main event, but it still guarantees a championship match. So the whole main event of WrestleMania, it shouldn't have to be solely on the purpose if you win the Royal Rumble for the men or for the women. It's not should be guaranteed heavily on that anymore. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. They need to steer away from that. Also, that's been updated in a few days ago. It says here that the Night of Champions will take place on Saturday, June 28th in Saudi Arabia. Night of Champions will be only WPLE in Saudi Arabia. Currently, a King and Queen of the Ring event is not scheduled this year. So if you take the King and Queen of the Ring event away, that's still 2 other opportunities besides the Royal Rumble to get a guaranteed championship match. And I don't know what the whole thing, I guess King and Queen of the Ring was a one-time deal. But you guys let me know what you think of the whole thing of Royal Rumble winners useless to main event WrestleMania. You guys check out the content here at Red Carpet Ray. Until then, you guys already know what it is. It's OUT.